All right, here we are back for round 3 of our Team 10K here in Mundelein, Illinois. I'm here with Eli Loveman. We're at Nerd Rage Gaming, and we're moving through the day. We're playing Modern, Legacy, and Sealed, and we've got some teams sitting down, shuffling up, getting ready for the next round. Eli, out of the 3 formats, like what would be your, if you were playing in this event, which, and you had 2 generic teammates, what format would you play for yourself? What would you choose for yourself?
That's a difficult question. I feel pretty comfortable with the Hammer Time deck in Modern after having played it through the Las Vegas tournament. But maybe with generic teammates, as you said in this hypothetical, maybe I'd be better off playing Legacy. I've been playing a lot of green-white depths, and I think that's a pretty good anti-Delver deck, although I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe a good meta call.
I mean, yeah, for me, I think this might surprise some people. I think Legacy would be the format I would least put for myself right now. I think I would put myself as Modern first by a lot. That's the deck, the format I play the most now over the last year by a good deal. So yeah, I'm interested to hear you say that. I mean, limited is. I mean, I draft a fair amount. I don't play much sealed anymore. I think most of my sealed experience always used to be playing, PTQs and such, and that doesn't really exist on that level anymore. So the limited is, I think that's true of everybody though, right? Like drafting is just more common than sealed, I think.
Yeah, in general, draft is more popular, and there are some differences between sealed and draft that are there, even though sometimes people don't know about them. Just kind of like lineup theory is a big one, having to save your answers for their bombs, and
Yes.
tempo not being as important. If you draft a lot, you're used to like combat tricks and tappers and things like that. Counterspells get a lot better in sealed, so there are real differences. And if you just are only drafting, then they might catch you off guard.
Definitely, yeah, and that might be an issue for certainly some people. Also, I mean, you kind of can't get around the fact that a lot of people play Arena on limited. I mean, limited on Arena now, and the sealed deck builder on MTG Arena is somewhat lacking. But so just on that alone, you might draft more often. Anyway, let's go ahead and go down to the table, look at our players, and get started with Modern. So we've got Jonathan Hobbs.
This deck is very popular.
Yeah, Jonathan Hobbs and Noah and Luke Strasler on the left versus James Bush, Kyle Veronda, and Sam Kuprewicz. So James Bush also has a brother that plays Magic, not on his team, unlike the Straslers. So yeah, maybe some family squabbling going on there. I don't know. Not gonna speculate. Also, I don't actually think that the other Bush is actually here at the event, but that would be fun to think that they were squabbling and not playing with each other. Anyway, we're going to be watching Grixis Death Shadow again, like you were saying, versus Gruul Midrange. I'm not sure what Gruul Midrange would be.
I caught a Seasoned Pyromancer and I believe a Blood Moon in the
yes.
hand.
So it's going to be a accelerated Blood Moon deck. Okay.
I like that strategy right now. The transition from blue-white control to incorporating Ren and 6, I think, is good for a deck like this. Lots of powerful non-creature threats like Blood Moon, Ren and 6, Chandra. The deck gets to play Ragavan, which is always a plus. So I think I'm in for it. I don't know about that Blood Moon Elf though. It might be a little passe.
Yeah, and on Blood Moon, I mean, just beats. I mean, some beats. There are a fair number of like 4 and 5 color decks. There's the control decks, the elementals decks, and then there's a Valakut, Primeval Titan strategies, and
Amulet.
There's Blood Moon is just fairly good, and it looks like Chandra is going to go to the bottom for Kyle. Both players are on a mulligan here.
It's not actually a dead card versus the most popular monocolor strategy because of the interaction with Urza Saga, so easy to get a nice 3-mana Stone Rain there.
Yeah. All right, redundant Ren and 6 drawn on turn 1 for Kyle. And facing down a Ragavan on turn 1, which is probably
be reciprocated,
part of the format. But going first, here we really see going first mattering a lot. Assuming there is a...
Well, it depends on how many live hits there are in this Gruul midrange deck.
Right.
Because the Ragavan connecting might not be too threatening here. There are cards like Seasoned Pyromancer that are universally powerful, but there's also probably a decent chunk of lands. Cards like Blood Moon that can't be cast. Blood Moon that he doesn't want to cast. 4-drops that can't be cast off of a turn 2 Ragavan hit. So, yeah, and then this is cutting off the Seasoned Pyromancer out. So this you can just take this one on the chin, pray that there's no, I don't know, Utopia Sprawl here. Yeah, it's just a forest. So now this Renin 6 is good to go.
Yeah. Losing a forest could actually matter if there are only a very few of them in the deck to support the Blood Moon, but I imagine there are probably 3 or 4. Yeah. All right, so Fury is the draw, which gives that excess Renin 6 something to do, potentially later on, but I'm sure we'll just see the first Renin 6 here take out, and there is another forest. Take down a Ragavan, and okay, I mean, no Strasler with good leftovers in hand, but the early offensive Ragavan is going to be stopped.
Noah Strasler's playing Unholy Heat deck as well, so the extra Renin 6 is probably fine.
Yeah.
Fury you see in the hand there, I think that was quickly identified as like, oh, well, this is like better than the other dorky 5-drops that this Ponza Gruul deck used to play before it got adopted by the format at large. So kind of the original home for the card.
Yeah, Fury is super cool. I even added it into my Legacy Goblins deck, as it's just, I mean, it's the only non-Goblin in the deck, but it pulls its weight in any format. Well, I guess these two are the only 2 formats it's in. Another
iteration.
Used
to play Pyrokinesis back then, so.
Yeah, it's a solid
upgrade. You see Strasler not crack the Polluted Delta on the end step. Maybe thinking about turning on a future Death Shadow.
Yeah, maybe. That's interesting. I mean, with the... Oh, no, he's going to do it here. Okay.
Yeah, definitely wants to fire off that Expressive Iteration.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe he would use the Treasure to play it, but there's really no reason to do that.
Especially with the threat of Blood Moon lurking.
Yeah, you're right. Leaving the Treasures in play actually does make sense there as long as he's able.
He also declined to get a basic land here, valuing the potential for a large shadow over the threat of the Blood Moon.
All right, well, he seems somewhat indecisive here, but we are going to see Expressive Iteration.
Maybe thinking twice about his choice there. He finds a fetch land here, so he can enable black mana.
Yeah, and getting basics is certainly relevant, and yeah, so we could see basic Swamp here, followed by Thoughtseize, which would be useful. I mean, he doesn't know this. He could wait a turn and be fine. He's not going to get punished. But
I think he
Blood is relevant because he doesn't.
Based on his body language, based on his body language, he may have thought twice about that Watergrave decision. So now I think now that he's realized that Blood Moon might be on the table, he's going to go for the Thoughtseize here.
Yeah.
And barring a Blood Moon that's Seasoned Pyromancer as well. Yeah. Like now that he has a Thoughtseize lined up, you can not play around Blood Moon.
Yeah, still, it seems like it wouldn't cost a whole. Well, it would benefit you 2 life, which you don't want. But other than that, there's not really any cost to getting the basic here. I would be tempted to do it, but okay. We see the Thoughtseize off the Blood Crypt here, revealing Stomping Ground, Fury, Bloodbraid Elf, and Renin 6, number 2.
I think there is a onus to get your shadows out of Lightning Bolt range, or Fury range in this case.
I mean, okay, that's true. What do you like here? Myself, I think I would take the Bloodbraid Elf here.
Yeah, Fury. Well, it depends on his. If I have more Fatal Pushes in my deck, I would probably take the. Yeah, if I had more Fatal Pushes, the Fury might be more of a problem. But if you have Unholy Heat as your weapon of choice, then I would definitely go for the value play there. And not too much is going to happen this turn. Just going to redeploy that Wooded Foothills. So plenty of time to use this second Expressive Iteration, get max value. Yep.
Yeah, Renin 6 does survive the turn and benefit Wooded Foothills out of the graveyard, so it is plus a card there for Kyle Veronda, but not a card on the board that's doing anything. And Noah Strasler picks up a Bauble, has the other iteration like you were saying, and we're going to see that here, looking for a Death Shadow or really any kind of creature, probably.
More disruption.
Yeah. Not what he was looking for there.
Fair
It
enough,
is
though.
nice.
Just continue to slow the game down. This
Yeah.
Gould deck has some nice top decks, though.
It is nice to find Mishra's Bobble on duration. It's always frustrating whenever opponent plays one when they're tapped out, and then finds a bobble. It's just it's not fair. It's not right. But Thoughtseize here, I guess no
Thoughtseize,
point.
I think you want to play the Thoughtseize to power up this Drown in the Lock.
Mm-hmm.
No
So
point in targeting. Yeah, it's gonna get full information before we make a Thoughtseize decision.
Yeah. You can't get information on opponent as the Wooded Foothills is in play, but he does look at his own top card.
For the Thoughtseize. Yeah, I believe the cards are just the two cards that were taken by discard spells, so
Yeah.
can't protect from a 4-drop, but can now protect himself from Bloodmoon. Could also consider protecting himself from Seasoned Pyromancer as well. He doesn't have a... not...
Is
I
Noah going
believe
to
the window opened.
No, okay. I was gonna wonder if Noah's gonna hold off the other bobble, but no, he's gonna fire it off here. I thought maybe since it seemed it didn't hit the board immediately, I wondered if he was gonna wait for if there's a Dragon Rage Channel on top of his deck. He might have seen it on the first bobble, but no, that's not it.
Yeah, we're just waiting till the Fury comes down. Or was it a second one drawn? Yeah, a second one was drawn. I don't know about stacking the treasure and the bobble together like that. Don't want to forget about one or the other.
And we also don't want to. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we may not have anything to productively do, but we want to get that land in the graveyard so that we can pick it back up again with the run in 6.
See if he goes for a basic forest here. Yeah.
Yes,
well,
he does.
if yeah, you're trying to get max value off of a possible top deck Blood Moon.
I mean, a Blood Moon would be phenomenal here. If Strasler is unable to put a creature onto the board and then Blood Moon came down, it would be. Would he even have a chance? It would just be Dragon Rage Channeler and like
fifth turn, right?
unholy
No,
heat.
it's his 4th turn. This is his 4th turn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So has a counterspell at the ready. Needs a threat to go with it. Just to find again just more Mishra's Baubles. A life total of 8 means that the shadow was going to be very large, but if you have to make an appearance, could consider putting Lurrus into the hand and fetching a basic island.
I mean, I definitely like both of those concepts. They seem pretty free. Firing a Thoughtseize here doesn't seem great. Yeah, I think you're right.
He knows that Fury is in his opponent's deck, but he just cleared the way, so.
Yeah.
The thing about Fury that I think people underrated when the card was initially spoiled, Solitude is very flashy. It sorts to plowshares, and then you got the blue one is a free counterspell. That's always popular, but this one is a freaking 3/3 double strike. Like,
yeah.
That's like people are like, it dies to lightning bolt, but that's really big.
Yeah. It's very solid. All right.
Depending on how exactly to leave up his hand before using his Lurrus. Yeah, okay. Teammates pointing out that he needs to deploy the Scalding Tarn at some point this turn. He likes his Bobble card, I guess, so they're worried about exactly when to fetch.
I see. But yeah.
These are the type of decisions that Mishra's Bobble players love to discuss.
Yeah, it's probably some discussion on whether the Thoughtseize should be played this turn or not. But given that the Drown in the Lock is available, I would have to imagine that it probably won't come down, although it actually can't counter that many things because the Wooded Foothills keep leaving the graveyard each turn. So
yeah, I believe the graveyard size is 4.
All right, so Seasoned Pyromancer, the draw here.
Now that you know that Lurrus is in hand, I don't think you deploy Fury as just a beefcake.
Right.
I think you just go for your Pyromancer. You can filter away some of these lands. It's extra run in 6. It's a really nice draw. And it's just a powerful card in general.
Yeah. Fetches a basic mountain this time and probably going to pick up the Wooded Foothills. And then, turn. I believe there's a Stomping Ground in hand also. So it's just going to be net 2 cards if it were to resolve, which I don't know. It's tough for Strasler. Season parameters not like
do you want to turn the Ren and 6 into a 1/1, or do you want to not have a 1/1 but potentially have a backup Ren and 6? Interesting.
I think.
Yeah, you can see they discussing with his teammates.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Personally, I think I would pitch the 2 lands, but I understand the idea of getting the token. So we'll see.
At this life total, I think the token is probably worth it. But with the fetch land, and then he's at 8. This is plus the Ren and 6s can start going face. Like it might have something. Oh well, there it is.
What just happened? I'm confused on what happened to that season pyromancer.
It was countered with the Drown in the Lock.
Wouldn't the Scalding Tarn had to have broken?
He used his treasure.
Oh, he used the treasure. Okay, that's what
he doesn't want to go to 7.
Yeah. Okay. No, that does make sense. I missed the treasure. All right, so now that
he has a Death Shadow, he's going to hurt himself a little bit more here. Yeah, I think the Pyromancer is threatening. It's kind of an annoying card that it is threatening enough to get counter. It warrants the counter spell, but
all right. So
we're not the most threatening card either.
Now I think so now it's gonna be Luris, Thoughtseize. Well, Thoughtseize, Luris, Shadow. Yeah. Oh, okay. Dragon Rage Chandler.
Dragon Rage Chandler was picked up as the Mishra's Bauble card, and the draw step for turn was a Death Shadow. So now he's just cooking with gas.
Yeah, this is a very nice turn for Noah Strasler the way this is playing out, and then the Shadow comes down. So not even bothering with the Thoughtseize, and loads up the boards with threats.
Kyle can clean up.
Death Shadow life totals are updated. That would be a 6/6, which is bigger than anything that Kyle can easily handle.
You can clean up the majority of these creatures with Fury and Ren and 6 distributing 5 damage, but the Shadow as a leftovers. I'm not really sure he's a great answer in his deck to it though. So he can Fury winning the race, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because the Fury left over though would be a significant threat as it can swing for 6, as you were talking about, and that conceivably could be enough to actually hold the Shadow back.
Let's see if he figures out the optimal line this turn. Maybe thinking about throwing it down the Utopia Sprawl as well. Should consider holding it for future season Pyromancer, or either to pitch or to have more mana left over with once you deploy it. There's a lot that you could factor in here.
Yeah. All right. So
Pyromancer in the graveyard could also be relevant in this game. Kyle doesn't really have a lot of gas and definitely needs to gum up the ground against the Death Shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, holding the Sprawl, for a block. Okay, Sprawl comes down. So now we're going to see Fury. We got to see. We have to see Fury. Yep, there we go.
2 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Found the line.
Yeah, and that was really good. And the Ren 6 has done a decent job this game. Death Shadow is
all alone.
Maybe not even be. Well, we'll see. I believe Strasler's only card is a Thoughtseize, so I don't think this Death Shadow is even attacking.
Is big enough to tussle with the Fury, though, once the Thoughtseize resolves. 2 fresh cards, an additional Shadow, and a fetch land. So he can play the fetch land, attack with the Shadow. The Fury will not be able to profitably block. Oh, wait. Was that a Crux that was survived?
Yeah, there's a Crux graveyard. Yeah, so there's more going on here than it might appear. So, how do you feel about Croxa plus second Shadow?
With the fetch land going on as well?
Sounds pretty good to me.
The Shadow the Shadow, now that the Shadows will tussle with the Fury. They can't block a Fury because of the Ren and 6 is available. So that's still an even trade, but Croxa is gonna do a number on this game.
Yeah.
Strasler just making sure he still has Delirium.
And Kyle Veronda is gonna need. He's the seasoned pyromancer in the graveyard, like you mentioned, the tokens that can be made on the comeback will buy a turn by blocking, but that doesn't
He,
dig Kyle out of this.
he can runner. Let's see here. He can runner some bolts. Yeah, he can take this hit. Runner some bolts. But I'm not sure if he has a big flyer in his deck, considering the fact that he has these furies.
Yeah, I would guess that he does not.
Pyromancer chaining spells also maybe an out. Rule deck certainly has some powerful cards. Bloodbright Elf as well as multiple threats, potentially.
And no, the Delta was not cracked for an extra 1 or 3 damage. Instead, no, it's
Lands
just
is not what you doctor ordered though.
Yeah, and that's it.
And he's doesn't want to go the concession route instead of just chump blocking for a turn.
Okay, so now we have Luke Strasler versus Sam Kuprewicz. Izzet Delver Mirror. Luke Strasler already up a game.
Yeah, and you can see that the popularity of this Izzet Delver deck is very ubiquitous.
Yes, it is. I mean, well, so far today, based on the pairings we've had, Grixis, Death Shadow, Modern, Izzet Delver, and Legacy is practically the whole format, but there are other things out there. And
see, that's the thing. So you asked me what seed I would want to play, and I think in team tournaments people are less likely to play combo strategies. Like when you have the pressure of like winning for your friends as well, it makes you want to just kind of like play a very known and proactive strategy that's regarded as the best deck, and that influences my decision to
I agree with
strategy.
That does matter, and I think you're based on what you're saying there. I think you're less likely to see a fringe deck unless you're playing against a whole team of fringe decks.
Yeah, that's right. The nut jobs will all hang out together.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Luke Strasler finishes this match off, defeating Sam Kuprewicz.
Yeah, you can see both players there with kind of low resources.
Potentially get bailed out if his teammates are able to win. So now we're on Jonathan Hobbs versus James Bush, both of which played in the the second NRG championship, I believe, the first one that I was a part of. So we see here
activation of a Lightning Wolf, giving it first strike.
Mm-hmm. Lightning Wolf, yeah, that seems like, I don't know. It's better than I expected. The first strike activation as a sorcery seems so bad, but it actually isn't totally embarrassing.
Yeah, that's the thing about this format is there are a lot of bombs. That's kind of like the way of the world these days. But there's a lot of ways to force through attackers and get the game over with quickly. So even though there are a lot of powerful rares, you don't always see them close out games. You can just tempo people out with tapping creatures, getting this like Lightning Wolf, creatures with menace.
Mm-hmm. So we've got here for Jonathan Hobbs a pack song pup that is hoping to find some teammates.
Yeah, the old Sultai pack song pup deck.
Yeah.
It is a powerful card by itself. Just even the first trigger will get you up to kind of you're even. You're getting your grizzly bear, and then anything else is bonus. But not having the first one is kind of embarrassing.
For Hobbs, there we just had the blue cleave draw spell, which is interesting. The way that works is a 3-mana draw 3. With cleave to not reduce your hand size, but at this point in the game, with no other cards in hand, it's just free. You can pay it the 3 mana. You don't need to kick it, although Hobbs does anyway. But that's a uniquely worded card that one of my roommates had the joy of not reading correctly and just casting on turn 3, and then having to discard without realizing the drawback. Inspired Idea, is that the card? No, that's not.
That card is Winged Portent. It's draw a card for each flyer you control, and if you pick kicker, you can just draw a card for each creature you control. Period.
It's the other cleave.
Kind of an interesting one for a green deck. Although in that you might be able to pay full retail more often in a green deck to make up for your lack of flyers in the color green. Deploying a werewolf here, get the chain going with the pack song pup.
Mm-hmm. Just getting that started, but Hobbs down to 6 life here, facing
Yeah, the
larger
lightning
creature.
wolf. It's really just going to town.
Yeah,
Wolf can out like he deployed like a large werewolf and he still can't properly
it's still
block.
that's a 5/4 I believe that can flip, but
This wolf song pup who just
yeah,
got his first counter might be going underneath the bus here already.
yeah. I mean, potentially Hobbs conceivably could like block the first striker with the pup, which will gain him a life before the regular damage kills him.
Looks like he
But
doesn't want to go through all the
yeah,
rigmarole though.
it might not have enough anyway. So Hobbs wins that game, and if that was, I'm not sure if that was game 1 or 2 for Hobbs. If that was game 2, then I believe we're done. But
Looks like
watch.
the
I mean, it was
Bush
game
is
1.
equalizing, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we'll see.
Oh, that's right. That was Bush equalizing. You're right. So they play on, and we are back to modern here with Strasler and Veronda.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kyle has
okay,
2 lightning bolts in hand. I'm not sure about that. I guess Dragon Ridge Channeler. No, you know what? Okay, I guess the Death Shadows decks have changed their threat composition recently, so Lightning Bolt more of an acceptable answer.
sure. Yeah, because there are. I mean, there are the early creatures you have to be able to deal with, and Ragavan and Channeler. So
I'm being a grandpa and remembering my Gurmag anglers, but those are long
sure.
since gone.
Yeah, we don't see those anymore. All right, so Arbor Elf bites it. Land is drawn. Was that a?
Ooh,
It is.
ooh, Tranquil Thicket action.
Yeah, cycling land there.
I like that. The
Yeah.
Renisix of this deck can be kind of mopey. You're not like working. You're not turning on your Amath with the fetch lands that you're getting back. So.
All right. So without much other, so is Kyle Veronda actually can? Oh, it's just okay. He's gonna cycle main phase.
Yeah, just gonna try and find an additional threat to deploy here.
Yeah.
Does find an Endurance, which is pretty powerful against the Delirium, Unholy Heat, Luris, all that nonsense. And the Mishra's Ball, while missing that Endurance by 1 card, can be nice for Kyle if you can catch. Oh no, but here we go. Just as I say that.
And yeah, this is tough. Kyle's gonna have to show a hand that is not gonna frighten Noah Strasler very much.
Yeah, I don't believe Strasler's packing a Dragon Rage Channeler, so Endurance is not going to turn him off too hard. Knows that his Ragavan is not clear for takeoff, does Noah Strasler.
Right. So I doubt we're taking. I imagine we're taking a creature here, and there's a Kolaghan's Command, another Thoughtseize, a Ragavan. I guess if the second Thoughtseize, you could conceivably take 2 bolts, but I don't know if that's.
You don't want to get burned out, but
Right.
we're a long way from that.
Yes.
Yeah, I would just take these creatures. Like you have a Kolaghan's Command, so that you can rebuy. Like you want to be able to rebuy a creature. The Endurance might cut that off. You're gonna have to deal with this Fury eventually, and other than Drown the Lock, I'm not sure that he has a clean answer to it, especially if Endurance slows down on Holy Heat. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you take the 2 creatures, and then your future turns are Ragavan, let it get bolted, and then Kolaghan's Command pick it back up again. I mean, that's pretty significant card advantage, assuming things do play out the way. Actually, there's no reason the Ragavan maybe could come out now. There's no really.
It would curve nice. Does he have if he has a 3rd land? I like that play a lot, and if he doesn't, then I'm not as sure.
Yeah. Well, Noah's giving it some thought, as he does have some options here.
It lets Kyle use his mana efficiently, but he's not likely to do that on the next turn anyway. And if you top deck a land, it's very nice to just go Raven's Crime, Regrow, Ragavan. You might have to fetch a Steam Vents, though. That's not the best. Maybe you should have sequenced this turn differently. Perhaps getting the Watery Grave. And then... Yeah, but he's going to go for it anyway.
It is Ragavan. So this is... Yeah, it does let Kyle actually use mana this turn, which he was unable to do otherwise.
Yeah, just offering it up. Ready for the ready... Kolaghan's Command at the ready.
Yeah. But with a Kolaghan's Command, if it is, discard and pick up Ragavan, and another Thoughtseize in hand, Kyle's going to be pretty short on...
Actually,
everything.
if I were Kyle, I don't think I would bolt in the end step.
Really?
Well, you could draw Renin
Oh,
6,
you want to
or
you want to
she's
yeah,
Pyromancer.
and you could get also dashed by another one. But the problem is if you bolt it and draw a Blood Moon, then you probably just win.
Yeah, so fourth, yes, Pyromancers and Renin 6s versus just Blood Moons, though.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing when you don't have anything to deploy, like when you don't have something to deploy,
Yeah.
and whether you want to use your mana in the end step, it really it's a situation where you need to have a good knowledge of your deck.
All right. So Spell Pierce in hand for Strasler. So there is defense against Blood Moon if mana is held up, although I'm not sure how likely that is to happen. But without drawing the third land, it is less likely he's able to spend both of the mana that he has.
It's going to get rid of this Fury.
Because of the land choices, so the Steam Vents may not find use this turn, so the Spell Pierce is just going to be left open without having a real choice on the matter.
Yeah, he could have sequenced the Ragavan turn a little bit differently. He wanted full information before deciding whether or not what to deploy, which I understand. But this deck does want to spend. It's mostly a black deck, so could have gone Water Grave, but used that to Thoughtseize first. But a difficult play to make, I think. Looks like somebody's reading the Fury. Could be a foreign card. We're asking what the rules text is.
Well, the Lightning Bolt is the choice. A land off the top actually would just allow Fury to be hardcast here, which is not, it's just not phenomenal or anything, but
Unholy Heat at the ready.
Yeah, I mean there are answers to it, but Lightning Bolt doesn't really feel like it does a whole lot right now. I guess maybe I'll take that back. If Strasler is at 10, then the Lightning Bolt does matter. But I'm not sure that's these decks have a habit of not maintaining high life totals very long.
Yeah, they either the brightest candles burn out the fastest, as they say. Oh wow! All right, well, that's going to be a very difficult card for Noah Strasler to beat. It's going to get around. It's indestructible. It's an enchantment. It gets around the Spell Pierce in the hand.
Yeah.
But now Noah Strasler's on a real clock. Yeah, and you can see him reading it here. It's cool to see. Like we didn't get to see him last game, but there's cool thing is have a lot of powerful mythic rares in it.
Yeah. So Colossus is not going to be expected to animate at any point, as it requires 7 devotion of red and green. But each turn, Kyle will be able to eat a card from the graveyard and either generate a mana or drain Noah Strasler for 2, which is, I imagine, what we will see each turn. And yeah, like you're saying, this most decks have a pretty hard time getting Colossus off the board. There it is, Colossus, God of Destiny. 4/5 indestructible.
The white decks have prismatic ending, but
yeah,
here it's just gonna run roughshod over Strasler unless this Death Shadow just gives him a clean 2-tap.
Which is possible.
Yeah, that certainly could happen. He's deciding to hold up double Unholy Heat rather than yeah, the Death Shadow is vulnerable to Fury at that stage. If I'm
Sure.
Correct. So
yeah.
He could have killed the Arbor Elf and deployed the Shadow, but that would not play around a top deck red card. And at this point, the hardcast Fury, like as long as if the Death Shadow gets dealt with, then Noah Strasler's in a lot of trouble.
Is that a Chalice of the Void? It is. That's a Chalice of the Void. Well, that's gonna find the Spell Pierce, unfortunately for Kyle Veronda, because otherwise that would be real nice here for delaying everything. It's vulnerable to the Kolaghan's command, but Noah doesn't have a third land, so that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. And now the players are perhaps trying to figure out what phase they were in when the Arbor Elf got killed. I'm not sure what they're.
There's a mistrigger here, but no, it looks like they're adjusting life totals here.
Okay.
Strasler down to 7. Okay, so now he can deploy. Yeah, the nice thing about the silver lining here is that Clothis is putting the Shadow out of Fury range.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But it's also raising Kyle's life total, and if it takes a couple swings for the Shadow, this is going to be very close.
Two bolts have been used already, and Strasler at 7. 1 point of damage will swing the clock. It becomes a 6/6 Death Shadow.
Not for long though. But yeah, this will be.
What Kyle needs is a Seasoned Pyromancer.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Finds a forest instead. So he
could.
Yeah. Colossus could be hardcast if Colossus. I'm sorry, Fury could be hardcast if Colossus makes a mana here, but that's a tough choice for Kyle to have to make. But you are right. At the moment, with nothing going on, Kyle would lose the race.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to go the mana route. He may take a turn off his clock to deploy Fury. No stress, you can see hands in the air. Well, yeah, closes in play. What do you want me to do about it?
Oof.
And it looks like
yeah,
the other matches were deciding.
Oh, is that what happens? And I think Kyle Veronda was probably gonna have a difficult time getting out of that anyway, as there was removal for the Fury and the Death Shadow was going to beat the Colossus, unless, like you're saying, there were a few draws that could have helped next turn, Seasoned Pyromancer, or potentially a Lightning Bolt. But now that the mana was made, the Lightning Bolt option I think was going to be off the table as far as racing the Death Shadow.
Yeah, that would have been a turn slow as well.
Yeah, so the Strasler brothers and Jonathan Hobbs take down that match, move to 3-0. Well, we're completing the third round of the Swiss here out of 7 rounds today. We have 92 teams, I believe. We'll show you what they're playing for. We'll pop up the price board here. This is a 10K event. We've got the Swiss today. The players started by building their sealed decks. Then we got 7 rounds of Swiss. The top 8 teams will draft. The eliminated players will draft tonight, and then tomorrow morning the top 8 matches will play out, continuing on the team structure. And you can see the payouts and the points there, as well as the winning team all qualify for the Nerd Rage Championship. We've also got our 5K tomorrow. And then next month, our final event of the year is in Milwaukee, our first event outside of Chicago area this year. Well, it's only our third event total, as you well know. We didn't have events for the bulk of the last year and a half. Is a repeat of the October event with the format days switch. So we're going to be playing Legacy on Saturday, Modern on Sunday, both 5Ks. That's December 11th and 12th in Milwaukee. So show up or join us to watch that one. It should be a good time. Meanwhile, we're continuing through the day, and we apologize for the delays between rounds. With the team event, we don't have a backup match because we just have the 3 matches for the team, and sometimes team matches just take a long time as the players consult each other, and if we end up with players who play quickly, then that's just what happens. But we'll be with you. If you stick with us to the break, Eli and I will be back for round 4 in a few minutes.